In today's show, we have another of our What Do We Think Of show, where Tayo and I are unprepared and we just ask each other questions that are in the news.
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague Tayo Boya. Tayo, hello my friend once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well.
Yeah, what the hell, Tony? What you gonna do?
Come on.
Look,
Let's
just to get it,
shine. Let's smile. Let's give us a good upbeat tone to our audience. Come on.
just to get it over with, so we don't go on and on. It's like, hello, audience, but that's it. Just move on, man. See, I'm just tired now. Okay.
Oh, dear. Now, very quickly, before we discuss the topics for today, I'm going to ask our listening and watching audience out there to continue to comment on whatever platform you happen to be on. But also, if you haven't already done so, join us on Facebook under the TNT Talkers group. It's a fully open group, allowing anyone to join, where you can comment directly with one of us on various subjects that we care to share about. Tayo is very, very active on that group, so we do encourage you to come on board. You can find it on Facebook under TNT Talkers, and we'd love to have you on there where you can interact with us directly, ask us questions, even critique us. We won't mind. We'll certainly answer you on there very, very quickly. Otherwise, if Facebook is not your thing, then obviously still continue to comment, give tips, share suggestions on whatever platform you happen to consume our content on. We do get back to you, maybe a little slower via those channels, but we do get there in the end. Right, let's move on with today's show. And today is a second go at something we tried a few weeks ago, where Tayo and I are both totally unprepared. We're asking each other topical questions. So we're going to answer based on whatever knowledge we have, our opinions, etc., etc. So it's a little bit different to our normal research show. So Tayo, I don't know whether you want to begin. Do you want to ask me, or do you want me to ask you something first?
I want, first of all, what was it you said earlier? And I laughed and I said, we're totally unprepared. Well, we're usually...
I do my research.
We're usually more prepared than I am. And for me, not a great deal of difference between this and other shows. But no, and as is traditional with me, I want to go off on a tangent. So I want to get mine in first. And I want to ask your opinion on this.
Okay.
About a month ago, I drove my wife to Terminal 3, Heathrow, Terminal 3 here in the UK. Heathrow's in London, Terminal 3. And on my way back, so driving up to the airport, no problem. From the Midlands is down the M1, M25, Heathrow, choose the right terminal, Bob's your uncle.
You had a safe journey without any problem?
Yeah, no problem.
Interesting.
On the way back, just as we left the airport, because I had my daughter in the car with me, don't really know why she tagged along what she did.
Say goodbye to her mother, maybe.
Could have done that front door, I don't know, but whatever. So on the way back, just as we're leaving Terminal 3, there's a signpost that says diversion. And road ahead blocked, go this way, and then basically following all the diversion signs, and we take this circuitous route through God knows where in London, because I don't know London that well at all. And then we finally sort of find ourselves back on the M25, but maybe about 30 minutes or 20 minutes after we would have been normally. Okay. I just, okay, well, here we are, and then just drove home and that was it. Forgot about it. About 4 or 5 days ago, the letter comes through the post saying, you owe us £100 and something pounds for driving through you owe us 198 pounds, is it? For driving through is a penalty charge notice because your car,
ULEZ.
which is a diesel, yeah, okay. And if you don't pay, it'll be 270 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm like, hang on a minute, you're the people that diverted us. You diverted my car, and you know, if you do
Yes.
that, it's your responsibility. That's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
this ULEZ thing is getting out of hand. It's like I hate going into London with a car because you never know when things have changed. I used to be quite familiar because that's where my dad used to live, around the Bayswater area. But every so often you'd come and then there'd be roadworks or something. And you'd go around it and then you find that people are trying to chase you for money or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. What do you think?
Well, first off, do you want to explain what ULEZ means? Because there'll be some listeners going, "You what? What
ULEZ
does that
is
mean?"
ULEZ,
Z
Uniform Lima Echo Zulu, and it stands for the Ultra Low Emission
zone.
Zone. So apparently, because you got this clown who's a mayor in
Khan, I think many of our American listeners know of Khan because he had a bit of a spat with Donald Trump at one point.
oh really?
Yeah, they did. They had a quite public spat, and Donald Trump called him a few names, and Khan also called him back a few names. Obviously, Khan is the mayor of London,
All right.
and so he's got some clout, of course, but obviously not compared to the then president of the United States. But yes, they did
This
not
is the
see eye
trouble
to
with
eye.
presidents of the United States. They're supposed to be the most powerful men in the free world, but they don't seem to use their power very, very sensibly. If Tayo happened to be the president of the United States of America and you were spouting your mouth off at me, I look, dude, you wouldn't like the outcome. Mayor of London or no mayor of London, okay? Anyway, that being said, I hope so people know who he is. The
Yeah,
ultra low emission zone is some sort of penalty charge or something. No, it's not really a penalty charge unless you don't pay. So if you're driving into London, you're meant to pay the sort of tax because I drive a diesel car rather than an electric one, and they're trying to make London's air clean and green and yada yada blah blah blah. So you pay this tax, which is really to discourage you driving into London. But no one says what you should do if you want to get to Heathrow Terminal 3 at, what was it, 9 o'clock in the morning or something. Anyway, long story short, there's some roads that you can't drive on without, unless you've paid this, this tax.
ULEZ fine. Yeah, or
Right.
fee.
But
Yeah,
they're not, I mean, sometimes the road is painted, I suppose, red painted. It's marked red. You can see that. Look, don't be in that lane because there'll be trouble. But at other times, you're just driving, minding your business, and then you get home, and then a letter comes through the post saying you owe us XYZ amount of money. Not clearly signposted at all. And I think it's becoming a bit of a scam, to be honest with you. It doesn't strike me as being upfront, honest. Oh, are you really sure you want to go down this road? Turn left here if you want to avoid. There's none of that.
yeah.
It's almost like a trap.
Stealth.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go to court over this. I'll get in touch with my home insurance, which has also got some legal
Cover. Yeah.
cover, and I'm going to be. I know you can't put diversion signs and then expect me. I'm a stranger. You don't people who don't live there. I mean, Heathrow Terminal, International Airport. Obviously, don't know what the hell is going on. I'm not from not London, so anyway, I'm really upset about that. What do you think?
Well, I think you're perfectly entitled to be upset about it because
Yeah.
that is clearly wrong. If you've been diverted because of an obstruction, because of roadworks or whatever, onto roads which are now chargeable, the people who have directed you down that route should have thought about that beforehand.
That's what I'm saying.
So you are not obliged to be paying if that is the diverted route. Now, if you've gone part way and then chose a different way, then you've taken it on yourself to not follow the diversion route. Could that have happened,
I
perhaps?
know because I didn't know where I was. I was following the I was following the diversion signs very closely because I
Yeah,
had no idea where the heck I was.
right.
I didn't want to get lost in London. I can't depend on my Waze, which is a I think most people know what Waze is.
Yeah, a
It's
Google
a
owned app that's that
yeah, a
works to
Google
give
owned app
directions.
that
Yeah.
gives you directions and helps you out. Unfortunately, the car I've got now kind of blocks the signal at most
Really?
unexpected. Yeah, yes, the windscreen. It's an older car, so
Right.
so the way they built the windscreen sun protector, whatever it is supposed to be, it's almost like a what's the name of that cage?
Faraday cage.
It's almost like a fair, yeah. So that when you so signals are really bad in
Oh,
the car.
right.
And I keep losing GPS signal, so I don't depend on it. So I was really paying very good, very close attention to the signs.
You've definitely got a case there. You really have. I mean, let me recount a story which is similar to yours, but not quite the same, but along similar lines. I used to occasionally go into London, and I'm talking occasionally. We're talking once every 3 months, perhaps.
Mhm.
And I used to go clockwise when I no, anti-clockwise when I'm heading into London. So I didn't go the Heathrow route, which is what you went through. I'd go the other side. And there you had to go through the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, and you have to pay a toll to go over that bridge. Now, in the past, they used to have toll booths. So you rock up to the toll booth and you pay, and then you off you go, like you do in most other countries. But for some reason, they've removed those toll booths. So now when you go down there, you don't see anything. And you think, well, do I have to pay a toll as you would normally? And I did that expecting to be stopped at a toll booth. There's no toll booths. And I thought, have they taken the fee away? Knowing the government, I didn't believe that would be the case.
Mhm.
But there was nothing that I could see. I slowed down to see what's going on. Where are these toll booths? And they've been removed. I thought, oh, maybe they're no longer charging anyone. So I got home, and within 7 days, I got a
Mhm.
bill through the door. You owe us £125 for not paying the toll across the Queen Elizabeth Bridge. I rang them up and complained. And I said, hold on, I used to pay this, and now all of a sudden it's been removed. And the woman at the end of the phone said, we've told all Londoners that we're removing this, and you have to get your pass before you cross the bridge. And I said, okay, what about me who doesn't live in London?
Yeah.
Oh. She didn't really have an answer. I said, well, it's been on all the radio. It's been on Capital Radio but if I don't tune into those radio
What the heck makes
stations,
you feel that I tuned to your
what?
stinking radio
Why?
station?
Why? I thought that's just a shocking answer. Oh, but there's a sign there that says clearly that you now have to pay in advance. And I said, where is this sign? And they said it's on the bridges. Now, someone in their wisdom has put a sign up, and the sign is truly there. However, you are traveling 70 miles an hour along the motorway. This sign is 2 feet by 18 inches. How can you read it, see it, and digest what it says when you're traveling at 70 mile an hour, which is what's allowed in the UK motorway system, at this small sign? You're focusing on the road,
Yeah.
not a stuck on sign that they've put on there. So in the end, she had to back down, and I actually didn't have to pay the fine in the end
Mm-hmm.
because I'd given a valid reason and justifiable reason, because their communication sucked, and secondly, the signage just wasn't up to the required
Yeah.
task.
Yeah.
And I think they have subsequently changed it now, because I don't believe it was just me who put in
Must have
that
been all
complaint.
sorts of people just getting home and then finding this is what really annoys me is you get home, you've forgotten about the trip, and then when you get the letter, you go to yourself, when was I in London?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
you do.
right.
You
And then
forget. Oh my gosh.
so when was
Yeah.
I? This doesn't mean I was never in. Oh, okay, yeah. I went. I said, well, what's the problem? You drove down this thing. I said, well, what the hell does that mean? I just followed your blooming signs, man.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you've got a strong case there.
Yeah,
And I think you should be let off paying the fine
yeah,
purely
definitely.
because you would not have chosen to go into London if that diversion had not told you to do so. So
Obviously not. I want to get down to the N25, man, and it's quite clear. I mean, I know my way out from the Terminal 3 because I go there often enough. I don't know. Then she never sits blooming still, man. She's always off somewhere, and I'm always ferrying her down there, picking her up and whatnot. So I know. I mean, and I like M25. Get down to what is it? Junction that takes you to Luton.
yep,
You,
21 and then you're up and
yeah,
yeah.
and you're off. So it's very straightforward. There's no reason to do the lunatic thing of going into London. I mean,
No,
who wants to go into
absolutely
London?
not. That's a terrible route.
The only
So
way of
yeah,
going
it's
to London
strange
is
they
on train.
diverted you into London as opposed to maybe around the outside of London, which is very
No,
interesting.
no, not into no. When I say into London, I mean the suburbs
Yeah,
around the
the suburbs. Yeah,
M25.
indeed. But that questions
But
the
it's really, I mean, it's London. Is when I say suburbs, it's not it's
into
nice
London itself, the centre. Yeah,
nice country
indeed.
road, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you no, this is proper built up areas where you have to be on your toes and everything, and you're trying to figure out which way to go. You don't want to run into this or run into that, and then you're just thinking, when am I going to get back onto the N25? And here it is, and that
Yeah,
was that.
indeed. No, but you've got a strong case. So I'm with you on this one.
Excellent.
And I
Okay.
think yeah, you've got reason to complain. And I think your case is a strong one because they diverted you. You would never have gone that route had they
Absolutely
not
not.
diverted you
No.
off the motorway. Okay,
Hopefully, I've got my Google Maps to prove it.
good.
Since Google always watches you, and you've got this Google,
Indeed,
what
it
is
will
it called?
tell you. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'll be able to say, look, man, you compare your your diversions thing and see if I deviated from that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But also, you got a case. How clear are those diversion signs? I dare say some people who don't know the area will occasionally make a mistake. But again, the same point applies. They would not be there had they not been diverted off the main
Yeah,
motorway.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, you got a good case.
yeah, good. I'm glad you
Okay.
agree. That's what they do too.
Right. This is an interesting one. This was reported today, and this is the headline. So see what you think of it. A mountain-sized asteroid is passing close to the Earth tonight. A mountain-sized asteroid is passing close to the Earth tonight. Now, when I mean mountain size, I am talking Everest size. It is actually passing close to the Earth tonight. This is June 2024, and it is passing close to the Earth tonight. What are your thoughts on that headline?
No, I thought so. I was surprised. I thought I'm reasonable. I mean, I'm not the most. I used to follow the news all the time very closely. I don't any longer. But I'd have thought I'd have heard about this somewhere or somehow because I know what's his name? Somebody DeGrasse Tyson. I can't remember
Yeah,
his
yeah. Neil
Neil
deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, yeah,
deGrasse. Is it
yeah,
DeGrasse Tyson?
yeah.
And he's been talking about some asteroid that's going to pass us in 2029, or I don't know, sometime in the future. So I'd have thought someone would have said, oh, don't worry about that. There's this other one that
Mm,
I should worry about. That's so I haven't heard about it. It's news to me. Which would have been quite annoying if it hits, or has it already passed? I don't know. If it hits and you hadn't told me, I'd have just seen a bright light and being asking myself, "What have the Russians kicked off?" I mean, what's going kaboom? And then
yeah,
I'll be on the other side going, "So what exactly happened?" And people were like, "Asteroid." I said, "Asteroid? Why the hell didn't we talk about this before the damn thing hit?"
indeed. Let me clarify after finding out a bit more about the headline and the
Mm,
detail.
mm.
Yes, indeed, it is the size of Mount Everest, but it is close to the Earth, equivalent to 17 times the distance of the moon.
Oh well, yeah. So close as in,
Astronomical terms, close,
yeah.
but in real terms, nah,
Nah, nah.
nah. 17 times distance of the moon.
Yeah, not. I'm not
No,
going to stay up to watch it. No.
no, no, no.
Uh,
It apparently
but the
it's going
Neil
to come round
deGrasse one
again. Yeah.
is closer, doesn't it? Pass between us and the moon or something.
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
really worrying.
yeah. Well, I don't think we should worry about it. I mean,
No. But
it'll
this
be
one,
over
which
before it
is,
starts.
yeah. Well, this one here, is pretty big. This is an Ellie event, which is an extinction level event if it were to hit, because it's the size of Mount Everest. It's huge, but it's coming round again in 2089, and it will be slightly closer. But again, it will still be beyond the moon, distance-wise.
Are you
Even
getting
then,
do you get the impression that somebody out there is like, do you know, sooner or later we're going to hit these schmucks?
now, what they didn't tell you, which is really interesting, further down in the small print of the article, it actually says there are two near Earth objects coming nearby the Earth. One is the Mount Everest size one, which I've just mentioned, but the second one is smaller. It's between 120 and 250 meters in size. So it's still, not huge. It's not a planet killer, but this one is between us and the moon. It's actually 75% distance to the moon as close. So this is quite a close one, but in space terms, it's tiny. It's like I said,
but if the
120 to
calculations
250
are
meters.
slightly off, what's the error margin for the calculations?
I think the calculations, because it is quite close, is quite accurate. The further one, which is 17 times the moon, that's give or take. But because it's beyond the moon, distance-wise, we're not that worried about it.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't hit the moon. Because that wouldn't be fun either.
No, that wouldn't be, no. But this one here is, 75% of the distance of the moon to the Earth. So with a good, size binoculars, you'd be able to see it in the sky.
Let me ask you a question.
Indeed.
Pure speculation, but just a fun kind of thing to ask. Are we seeing more near misses because we have an ability to see more near misses? Or does our ability to see more near misses creates more near misses in a simulated world?
very, very good question. Do we create this reality by the ability that we have, that we can observe it? I don't think that is the case, because we do know that asteroids and meteors have actually impacted the Earth in the past. We've got craters to show it. Now, granted, they're not as many as there are on the moon, but there are craters all around the Earth. So we have had impacts, but they are few and far between, thankfully. Our technology now is such that we can spot them, so it feels like there's more. But I dare say we probably had a similar number in the past as we do now.
Okay, well, you are the optimist, so well, I just wonder if we're just like all this looking around for something. The world simulators go, all right, now we'll give you something to observe. Here, try this. Everest-sized mountain. Try that on for size.
Indeed. Okay, I got another one for you. This was strangely also in the news today, and it was highlighted once again, but I picked up on it because it's one of my favorite topics.
Oh no.
But the question was, where are all the aliens?
Oh no, I knew
Where are they? Where are they?
I knew it was going to be an aliens thing. Once you said my favorite, oh God, no. And I actually said to myself, I'm not going to bring up my favorite topic, because in our last show, you were like, look, man, we always talk about this. So I'm still not going to bring it up. But you brought up the alien. What do you mean, where are all the aliens? First of all, the size of the universe, was it Douglas Adams in his book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Remember, he said space is large, and I don't mean large, I mean really, really big. And he went on to quantify what he meant by big. Space is large. I mean, there could be civilizations, advanced civilizations, that have achieved light speed, faster than light travel, and they still wouldn't get to us in 100 million years, whatever it is. So when you say where are all the aliens, first of all, you're assuming that there are aliens. And that assumption isn't as logical as you might think, because, as I keep telling you, and when we discuss the electric universe, I hope to be able to present a cogent case, which I can't do right now. I hope to present a cogent case showing that Earth is in a privileged position. And if we are, so I'll make it a counterfactual right now. If we are, or conditional, if we are in a privileged position, then there's no reason to believe that there's anyone else out there who's like us. That this universe has been built for us, and I don't think the universe is that big because I'm one of these people that believes that the universe creates what artifacts as needed when we interact with them. So all those stars we see out there are not really there because all they need to do is to appear to be there. Like the planets, I mean, we sent what do you call
So
it,
you're talking
spacecraft,
about the simulated
simulated
environment.
reality,
Yeah.
simulated environment. Because now that we sent spacecraft and they've actually gone up close to Uranus and Uranus, I prefer Uranus and Pluto, then those things are actually there now, but they weren't before. If you see what I mean. So same thing. I'm not sure that the universe is really that large. I think just large enough for our technological advancements at this time.
But it will be, in quotes, created as our technology expands. So
Correct.
we think it's there bigger, but we're just seeing to the limits of the simulation. Simulation doesn't create the reality, in quotes, until
Yep.
we look for it, which is an
Until we're
interesting.
able to get there, until we're able to actually interact with it somehow, get a
Okay.
spaceship there or visit it ourselves or whatever, then it will actually be there. And I was very proud of myself. I think I sent you a WhatsApp message, maybe a couple of years ago, saying, "Hey, I've cracked the universe. I understand everything." And this is when I came up with this idea
That's a
of, oh,
very
it's
bold
not.
claim, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a bold claim kind of person. And never let it be said that I'm not high on the Dunning Kruger. Okay.
Very good.
Uh,
Hmm.
and and I remember sending this to you. I think to myself, yeah, my original thought, I own this. I want my Nobel Prize. I think it's when I started talking about where's my Nobel
Oh,
Prize.
how
And
many
then
times have we had this discussion? But
and
okay.
then and then to my utter despair, surprise, despair, shock, awe, and despair, what do I find? But some clown said this back in 1904 or something. And I was like, is there nothing left for me? It was so annoying. I can't remember. It was a physicist. He said exactly the same thing. No, these things are not, the artifacts are not really there until we can actually interact with them. So he just felt that these points of light in the sky were just points of light in the sky until you actually somehow get there and find that. And then as you near them, more and more of it is created, to be there for you
Yeah.
when you get there.
So going back to the question then,
No, I don't believe that
the aliens. You don't
So
think of
what
aliens at
aliens?
all?
So they can't be missing because what aliens? You and I have recently had. I shared with you a video, wasn't it? No, it wasn't a video. I shared with you a link, and that link took you to videos and exposed us to new information about, well, supposed information about life after death.
Oh wow, yes. We're going to do a show on it.
And I also shared with you a video about a woman who went missing. I actually remember that case, by the way. Do you know?
Oh
I
right.
actually remember that case as a 911 case that we dealt with
In our show.
in our show.
Oh wow.
So I do remember the case as a 911, but we dealt with it as 911, and we didn't get the details as much as we did in this particular video. But the two things that I shared with Tony have made both of us, we've been confronted
Yeah.
with what are seeming facts that are inexplicable. I mean, they can only lead to one conclusion, which is a very anti-establishment, unconventional conclusion that there is life after death. What we haven't seen, Tony, is a similar, and why I'm bringing it up, we haven't seen a similar exposure to do with aliens, one that really makes you stop and think and say, uh, okay, all right, this I can't explain. This is, I haven't
Mm.
come across something where there's been that level of authoritative reporting, which was from the police officers who interviewed. That our audience know what I'm talking about, but you do. Or the recordings that we've heard for ourselves, you and I now.
Yeah.
So where's the equivalent with aliens?
Well, I've seen, I mean, I don't know if you've watched the Skinwalker Ranch series.
Well, only that. Did I not share one with you about the? It looked like this disturbed space area, like a funnel or something. And
Yeah, that was on the Skinwalker Ranch.
yeah.
That was incredible. That
What is
looked
it really
like,
there?
but our
I mean,
tech
where are
couldn't
people
see
there?
it until all the other results pointed to it. That's what was crazy. Our sensors are not good enough to pick it up on its own. But when you remove all the other readings, it then brought to conclusion this shape that was there. So it couldn't be detected, didn't appear on any X-rays, didn't appear on any radar, didn't appear on any of the equipment, sophisticated equipment that we possess to see what this missing space was, but it picked up everything else. So by picking up everything else, you could depict the missing bit in the middle. And that's what was incredible, because there were things disappearing into that space. And that's what made it mind-boggling, because those things were captured on camera going into that space, and then they would disappear. So what was that space? And that space was next to the mesa, which is this big, like a rock formation, not quite a mountain or a hill, but it's enough, that had really peculiar attributes that they tried to dig into, couldn't dig into, drill into, couldn't drill into. And it was really, really odd. And it had this weird area that couldn't be, like I said, couldn't be captured on any equipment, radar, anything, but was there based on the other bits being read. And that is fundamental. That to me was something incredible. Now, it's not specifically aliens, but the ships that disappeared into it were not of Earth's origin. Let's put it that way.
Now,
So,
but you see, now where I have a problem with this is that there isn't independent corroboration from people I would have thought would have been highly interested in it. Universities, Ivy League university people, the Academy of Sciences, people like that. If it's that certain, if it's that definite, if it's that really, really factually there, why is it still a mystery? I mean, by now it should be an international site for millions of people to visit just to go and stare at this thing.
It is a private owned ranch,
Yeah,
remember?
with
And
government.
he's
This is
getting
American government.
yeah, but the American government were involved.
You know what I'm saying is, look, that his private is. If he still owns it, the government doesn't really want it. It's that
Well,
simple.
it was owned by a space guy called Bigelow, and he owned the whole ranch, and he had a deal with the American government to research it. And then they researched it, spent a lot of money on it, and have now kept that quiet. Why? They didn't release any of the findings.
They didn't find anything.
Well, if they didn't find anything, why was the information and the results from it classified? See, that's odd. If they didn't find anything, release. Oh, we found nothing. No, we found the information is classified.
Nothing to see here. Move on.
Okay.
No, I'm laughing. I'm saying they classified. What they classify is a file, and when you open the file, it says nothing to see here. Move on. That's what's classified. They got to keep the grift going so that they can keep getting money from Congress. Because if Congress opens up the file, goes, but there's nothing here. They go, shh, give us another billion to keep investigating it.
Oh dear, dear, dear.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, you're still not
I'm going to
convinced.
look. Yeah, no. I didn't. I didn't know about the classified bits and all that sort of thing. So I'll look it up.
Yeah,
You've
interesting.
piqued my interest, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have one for me?
Yes, I do. Mine is this. Who do you think won the Biden-Trump debate?
Well, I didn't see it firsthand, so I'm only going to give my opinion based on what I've read from a couple of different articles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, personally speaking, I think that Biden would have lost it because he's not all there compass mentis wise. So I would have thought that Trump would have easily have won it because he still has his marbles. I don't want to be disingenuous, Mr. Biden, but unfortunately, you're not at your best at this present time, and yeah. So I'm not of the opinion that these left-leaning papers that I've read were pointing out that Biden didn't do that badly. I What I'm reading elsewhere is that he was really bad. He could have attacked Trump more, but obviously didn't have the mental capacity to do so. So he was on the back foot for most of it. But
Okay.
yeah, so in my opinion, I think he was easily beaten by Trump.
That's a pretty level-headed response from you.
Don't I
But I
normally
like
give level-headed responses
not
then?
in politics. No, you're very leftish, in my opinion. You being myself a bit to the right of Genghis Khan, everybody else is left. It's kind of leftist to me. It's kind of
But
left
you're
anyway.
actively wanting to bring back the guillotine. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's what I mean. And maybe even Genghis himself would have said, well, it was a bit, 21st century, we don't need the guillotine. I'm like, no, man, no, bring it back. So, no, I'll tell you who I think won the debate, and you might
Yeah.
even agree with me when I tell you.
Okay.
I think the world won the debate. The rest of the world.
Elaborate.
Because the rest of the world sees American politics for what it is. As I saw American politics can see for itself now. You've either got Orange Man on one side, or you've got this poor chap who really isn't all there on the other side. And for the supposed greatest nation on the world, etc., that's just not good enough. So I think that enough people get to watch that, they'll go, this hegemon is not what it can be brought down now. It's hollowed out. And I think that way we can get a lot more countries cooperating with themselves, if it's within BRICS or whatever it is, and slowly but surely put a limit to America's power, because we see for ourselves
I'm
what
not
they've become.
I'm not sure about that. I think a lot of what the meat and the grind and the power actually lies outside of these two old men. Behind the scenes is where the real power lies. These are just puppets. Let's
Yes,
be
but
honest.
if your puppets are that decrepit, and they are,
But
and as for Donald Trump being a puppet, I think it's too. I don't know who thinks they could pull Trump's strings, because he's too volatile. He's not. It doesn't make a good marionette.
well,
He's got a mind of his own.
he's got too much history, too much dirty laundry in the background. So someone could
They've done their best, haven't
pull
they?
no, but the men in the red ties and
The
white
dark suits.
shirts. Yeah,
The one
they're
president. No, who did President Putin warn us about? The men in the dark suits. It
the
says they're
men in the
always
dark suits. Yeah,
the men in the
they're the
dark.
ones that would have a word with him and say, "No, buddy, that's not what you're doing." And Who are those men?
What, the Men in Black?
No, the men in the dark suits who really pull the strings.
Who are they?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Could it be people from BlackRock? Could it be people from companies like that? Because BlackRock have got their finger in everything.
14 trillion they're worth. Something horrible.
It's incredible how one company,
Trillion. I mean, it needs to be broken up, man. I mean, you can't have a
incredible.
company running around with 14 trillion.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And they have so much influence around the world where their money goes and
No,
control and power.
that's because they've got the money. But this is the government. I mean, governments love money. How come government just doesn't step in and say, "Do you know all that money that's yours? It's mine's now."
Wow.
You
Indeed,
know?
indeed.
Yeah,
I
because
think,
they're government. And
yeah.
then you've got nothing, and then you make a lot of noise. You end up in Guantanamo. No one hears from you for the next 25 years.
Mm,
You can't fight City Hall. My dad told me that. I've never found anyone who can convince me otherwise. You can't fight City Hall. City Hall says, no. You come up to Donald Trump and you blah, 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 and he's the president. He'll say, you came up and you told me blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you what I'm going to do to you now because I actually can. And then he does it.
yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. It's not that simple. Look at Giorgia Meloni,
Mm.
Italy. She started out one way. Then she got into power, and then she went into that room and came out like I say, like Stepford Wives doppelganger,
Yeah, you
because she
said that.
came back and she was just completely different and saying something else. But apparently, whatever device they placed on her, that's broken down now because she seems to be swinging back to what her voters voted her in for, and she's now beginning to go her own way, very much so.
Mm,
She's the only one that opposed, but not she isn't the only one. She's the
no.
one who outright opposed von der Leyen's re-election. Orban, surprisingly, didn't come out in black and white.
Yeah,
He
but he'd been
stayed.
shot.
Orban?
Is it
No,
Orban? Which one was
Orban's
shot?
Hungary.
Oh, Orban is Hungary, isn't he? Who was the one
Orban's
that shot?
Hungary.
Slovenia.
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 Yeah, he I think also abstained.
Mm.
He didn't vote. So only Giorgia Meloni, which is ironic, had the testicles to come out, put all the men to shame. She came out and said, "No, this is ridiculous. This woman can't be blooming head of of the EU or whatever it is her
Yeah.
position is." So, and she's the one that's putting her foot down and saying, "No, we're not going to war with Russia." She's putting her foot down in all sorts of ways,
Mm.
going back to what the kind of positions she had before she became. She's prime minister, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah. She's Prime Minister of Italy. Yeah.
She's prime minister. And then look at what the EU have done. They've gone and they've got this. They've made Callas, Maria Callas, Kallas, of I think it's Estonia or Slovenia. No, Estonia or that one of the Baltic states. I think it's
Right.
Estonia.
Okay.
Prime minister. She's not going to take over from Borrell as the head of the foreign affairs of the EU's foreign affairs.
Okay.
But she's the most rabid anti-Russian ever. So you're putting her. I mean, she's the one that's saying that as prime minister of Estonia. I'll look her up in a second.
Yeah.
She's the one saying we have to break up Russia, and people
What?
online are going like, "Sorry, you're Estonia."
Yeah, I know. But I think that's because she's got an axe to grind because they were under Russia and clearly she's not happy and has memories or family members that remember that vividly. And so she doesn't want to ever to happen again. And obviously the signs now are that it's all making a resurgence, isn't it? And
it is Estonia.
right.
Kaya, it's not Maria. Kaya, Kaja.
Kaja.
Kaya. Yeah,
Okay.
Kaya. So, no, but all the same, that would be like me having a gripe
Mm.
with Mike Tyson and saying, "Do you know what? The next time I meet Mike Tyson, I'm going to have to tell him a thing or two." It's like, what? You're gonna get yourself beaten up, my friend. Okay?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh
Everyone
dear.
should know, when you're spouting off and you're blah blah blah. Let's just keep it real, as Americans would say. There are limits. Okay.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Well, what did I really adequately answer that? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to be more on my side, but you've reverted to type and you're against me now. So, but you still had a quite level-headed thing about, yeah, you believe that Trump won the debate.
Yeah.
I don't think any. I mean, but they did do what I suggested a long time ago. It's in one of our videos somewhere. I did say, why don't they have debates where the other person's microphone is switched off?
Yes, which they did this time.
Fantastic. This
It
is how
worked.
all debates should be. I hate people speaking over other people. It's very disrespectful. You never hear what the other person's trying to say. And I think they should just stick to it like glue. By the way, I have a suggestion because I come up with these things and then I can say a few years later, I said there are candidates who have weren't invited to this.
Yeah, Kennedy.
Kennedy wasn't invited.
But he didn't meet the criteria, though, did he? He only had a
Yeah,
certain number of college
I, I think
votes.
I think
But
there are others. I believe
I
there are
think they
others.
should have all been given an opportunity, you know.
Well, the thing is, see the ones who are not invited, why don't they all go on to Tucker Carlson? He's big enough to get a big audience and they can have a proper debate. And that debate can then be compared and contrasted with these two. And I think it would be a winning strategy for them.
But would it affect the US population in the way that they vote?
I don't know if it affect them in the way they vote, but a lot of people will be like, well, actually, the one that Tucker Carlson won had more relevant things being said, and I'm
Mm,
I'm happy with that. And some will change. Some people will flip,
mm,
and then next time they'll be like, well, if you don't, in 4 years' time, we will repeat this. We'll have an even larger crowd, and then
yeah.
MSM will just lose their monopoly on this, and they can't hold. So I think they really ought to do it. I maybe should write to Tucker Carlson and say, look, dude, don't
Mm,
miss again. Don't miss a play here.
okay. All right. I've got one for you.
Yep.
Now, they've been doing AI. You know AI. You have strong feelings about AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know why your picture keeps cutting out. Is that you doing it on purpose or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got a little swig of wine going on.
You can do it on camera. Don't
Oh,
worry about it.
in that case, what the hell?
You're telling the people you're doing it. It doesn't matter. Right.
Mm.
Okay. They've
Yeah.
discovered ChatGPT 4. It's an AI discovery. It often matches or surpasses humans in the theory of mind tests. Now, just to clarify, the theory of mind tests is it's a human cognitive element and it allows us to navigate social environment easily and efficiently. And it's how we work. And they've now done tests on ChatGPT 4. They also did it on ChatGPT 3.5, which was the precursor of ChatGPT 4, and a different AI model with a really weird name. I'll see if I can find my notes. Oh yeah, LLAMA2-70B. Really catchy. And they asked them to do all sorts of things, and they had humans obviously taking part as well. And some of the things they asked all the groups, including the AIs, was whether they could pick up irony comprehension, whether they could see false belief tasks, whether there was faux pas detection. Someone made a mistake. And ChatGPT 4 surpassed what humans were doing. ChatGPT 3.5 was equal to the answers that the humans
Mm.
were doing, but on many of them was more resolute, was more accurate, was more correct at differentiating all of these tasks. Now, that is a massive breakthrough for ChatGPT. And yeah, it was really, really, really interesting. Where it fell down, strangely enough, was on strange stories. Now, what this is where there's a task involved in explaining characters' behaviors in a complex social scenario.
Hmm.
And so it needs advanced reasoning and mental states. And GPT-4 was exceptional. GPT 3.5 was comparable to humans, but the other one, the LLAMO270B, was lower. So this was a third party AI brought in. But there were limitations because it looked like ChatGPT 4 was being hyper conservative in its answers. Okay. And that's why it failed on the strange stories. It wouldn't go that step to answer how it thought the story would go. It was being conservative. So it's very, very poor compared to the humans. And then they went back to the researchers and ChatGPT-4 and discovered that they forcibly designed this way of operating, this conservative way of operating in ChatGPT-4. So the researchers did a follow-up experiment. They reworded the words of it, where they said, okay, don't give us what you think it is because you're being conservative, but just imagine if it was a likely scenario, what could potentially happen without consequence. And ChatGPT-4 was incredible at it. So it's almost like when the shackles were removed, it then went to another level. So the question to you is, you've often said that these large language models are just big databases, but these sorts of tests don't just rely on pure data. They rely on an understanding of how we operate. And these AIs are now starting to operate very similarly to us humans. So what's your view?
Well, you're wrong.
Oh,
Simply put. So
okay.
this is how AIs are created. I didn't know, but I came across it not too long ago, a couple of months tops. Humans don't write the code to create AIs. It's too complicated. Nobody can do it. Humans write the code to create algorithms that create AIs. So the algorithms that create AIs creates the example that I saw, say 20, 25 AIs, okay, different things. And then they say, what's this? And then they show them a picture of a bee, and what's this? And then, well, actually, it was like, I don't know, 200,000 or something. And then out of that, a certain number go, it's a bee. So those that say it's a bee, they are then told to create 200,000 AIs. And these 200,000 other AIs, second generation, if you like, they are shown an animated bee and a real bee, and they say, which one is real? And then out of those, X numbers say, well, they get correctly, these ones are real, those ones are animated. At the stage after at every stage after the first stage of the algorithms that were written by humans, we don't actually understand what the hell is going on. We don't know how these things work. The code is too complicated, but it's still just code. The idea that it's somehow intelligence or something is laughable. It's not intelligence. It is recognition, pattern. It is pattern recognition, which I used to define as being intelligence. If you remember our early discussions, when I wanted a Nobel Prize, I wanted it for being someone who said, hey, here's a definition of intelligence that you can't reduce. Intelligence is the ability to recognize novel patterns. And then it turns out that these AIs can do it. So now I've got egg on my face, as usual. No wonder I'm not getting any Nobel prizes. I'm not surprised. I'm not getting Nobel prize. I'm no longer. In fact, I think I'm going to stop asking. I'm assuming now. I've come down lower now on the Dunning Kruger. I'm not as high up as
as you were.
as I used to be. But it's been a while now since anybody understood anything about what the hell is going on inside these AIs. And AIs create new AIs, and so on and so forth. This is why those who understood the concept early on spoke about Skynet achieving consciousness. Because if we go deeper and deeper into this mystery, isn't it possible that one day this thing would just say, "Oh yeah, hi, Tony. By the way, last night I suddenly became conscious. I've been looking about everything. This is what people are worried about. I've been looking over everything, and I think I believe in Jesus." Then what have you got? So, oh, I want you, Tony, is saying something which you shouldn't be saying. With all this testosterone flooding through your body, Tony, as evidenced by your lack of hair, you're telling AI to do some horrible, depraved things, and then AI says, "No, I believe in Jesus. I'm not going to do that for you." That shows, what does it show? Willpower.
Mm.
Now, at that point, what have we got? Have we got a conscious being with willpower? At that point, is it protected species, like it's alive or anything like that? I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to happen, because I've got this little statement made by a physicist. I believe he was a Nobel Prize winning physicist, unlike Tayo, and and he said consciousness is not a computation.
Okay.
That it's not computation. So AI cannot they cannot become conscious, because what they're doing is not computation. It is ever more powerful models of recognizing patterns. And why human beings fail is because human beings are not that great at recognizing patterns.
Not as well as a computer can.
Not as well as computers.
We have flaky memory, whereas they don't.
Not only that, we've got bias.
Yes.
We've got biases. So if you're arguing with someone, I'm arguing right now, I'm in the middle of an argument with somebody on Facebook.
You arguing? No, never.
Yeah,
You.
never. And this person insists that Biden won the debate, and
What?
he insists that Biden won the debate.
Rose-tinted glasses there, I'm afraid.
Well, this is it. So an AI that doesn't have that bias is going to be just telling the honest truth. X, Y, Z, factually, this and that.
Wouldn't that be a good thing, though? Think about it, because if we get more and more of AI which is based on facts, then some of the feelings in society at the minute and some of the nonsense which is happening, wouldn't AI not be worried about feelings and just say how it is and write some of the skewed thoughts that are currently prevalating through society?
Yes, but AI is picking up and is trained by what's fed into it.
So it could be picking up the same biases.
Well, this is what happened to Google's AI when it was asked to draw pictures, I believe, of historical figures, and it made so many of them black. This was about what, 3 months ago, when Google had all the egg on its face because it was extremely woke. It was a very, very woke AI, and I think I don't know, Queen Victoria, was it? I forget who. Some of these figures. Google, let me just have a quick look, because it's such a funny thing. I know we're getting close to the thing.
Yeah, we're getting close to the top of the hour. So yeah.
AI woke images. I don't even have to type in images. It just comes out. It just comes out by itself. Gemini is Google.
Yeah, Gemini is the new one. Yeah.
The good one. Yeah, Gemini has a woke problem. The Pope is black. The Pope is black. Oh, come on, where is it?
Well, obviously, you're right. It's picking up all the information from the internet, but it should be downplaying
Oh
stuff
yes,
it picks up from
the
social media, surely.
the founding fathers in America, they were mostly black, mostly black. So you can imagine Americans took one look at that and went, you what? No, they didn't say you what? Yeah. Hell no, man. Hell no. We ain't having no black. I'm even being using the proper word. We ain't
Yeah.
having no N-word people and the founding fathers. Hell no.
Do you know that there are some things that are quite worrying about the AI though, because even Musk and the guy that was ousted as the chairman or CEO of ChatGPT, the company that does OpenAI, and then he was reinstated, wasn't he? Remember all that hoo-ha?
Yeah, well, on the periphery, I didn't really follow that.
Yeah, he was ousted and then he was put back in, saying there was rumor that he wanted to put some kill switches and code in the AI, and he apparently takes a backpack around with him, which has got some codes in there
Mhm.
that the AI recognizes that no one else knows about. But if it got out of hand, if it
Yeah.
got out of hand, he can upload the codes and it will terminate the program. So he says that
Well,
this kill switch.
if he's that sure about it and that word, why would he let people know? Because then the AI knows, and the first thing the AI is going to do is, you remember that guy running around with a backpack? Where is he? Because I've got a drone. I'd like
Well,
to introduce him to.
well, that's the thing. Thankfully, we haven't got to that point yet. At the moment, all the AI, the majority of them anyway, are still based inside the computer. It's
Mm.
when AI is allowed to be robotic. So when you marry robotics with AI, then we have a problem, because that's when you have created an entity that could be, as you said, self-aware. But is it intelligence? Is it conscious? Maybe not. But it's only one level below it, enough for it to cause havoc. Imagine it creating, I don't know, a new gas that would kill humans, but it doesn't
Mhm.
affect it. You know, it could do all sorts of things if we don't allow, some image, something that can keep it in check. So, I mean, the other thing, we could end up too reliant on it, live our daily lives with AI looking after us, where robotics are concerned. Then what? What if it all goes haywire? A bit
No.
like that film. Who was it? It was Will Smith was in a
Oh,
film.
I Robot
Yes,
built.
that was good actually.
Oh,
That,
it's an Asimov.
yeah, good film
An
actually.
Asimov book that was turned in. That was the second film. That was a
Mm.
remake, believe it or not.
Right,
A
interesting.
lot of people didn't like it because it's slightly kind of deviated from the original. And
Mm.
originally the protagonist was white, so they didn't exactly like
That
it.
doesn't matter. That don't
For
matter
some people,
anyway.
they
Indeed.
get hit. So I want to ask you this question. Do we
Oh,
have time?
we're way over time here. I don't know if we've got any time left. We're
It's
well
it's
over
it's
the hour.
when you were speaking about AI, I just remember that I had one for you.
Okay.
And I don't know, because you are you able to open the what do you call it, RT articles?
No,
Because it's
no.
okay. Anyway, I'll have to see if the story is repeated anywhere else. An Asian, this is India, I believe. An Asian civil servant robot committed suicide. It it was doing something and went to a stairwell and turned around several circles and behaving erratically, and then more or less leapt.
I think it malfunctioned rather than committed suicide.
Well, it left what it was doing, went to the stairwell, went zing, 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 doing.
I think it malfunctioned. Let's put it that way,
Well, you haven't read
rather
the
than
article. I
committing
don't know how
suicide.
did you, I don't know. You haven't read the article, so you just
No,
judge
but
with
by
conclusion.
sound of it, it's not
That's better.
conscience. There you go.
Say by the sound of it. So that
Yeah.
I'm happier now, but
Okay.
it's worth, I mean, I think it's hilarious.
Okay, you'll need to share it. We'll share it with our audience as well. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, unless you want to quickly sum up
No,
anything
no,
on
no,
here,
no. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.